Let's talk Manchester United, shall we? The new head coach, Ruben Amorim, says he is confident of putting the club back even where it belongs. Amorim flew into Manchester on Monday after being confirmed as Erik ten Hag's replacement. The 39-year-old is the seventh man since Sir Alex Ferguson's retirement in 2013 to take up the challenge of trying to get United competing for major trophies once more. Amorim had his first interview with the club, which was released yesterday with MUTV, and he gave some insight to what United fans can expect from him on day one.
We need time. But we have to win time. To win time is win games. But the most important thing for me is identity. Since day one, we will start with our identity. Of course, we are going to prepare the games, but we will focus a lot in our game model, how to play, how to press. These small things, small details. You cannot go 100% on every detail because it will be confused for the players. So if I have to say one thing, my main goal, my first goal is identity.
Okay, interesting. Is that essential, identity? As that's the most important thing any manager has to bring to a club?
Yeah, I think of course it's important because he's going to bring a style of play that everybody has to fit in. And there'll be a lot of challenges of how many players can actually, you look at a group of players and he's going to be picking some and go, well, he can do what is required. I'm not so sure about him, and he definitely can't. That's going to happen. He's going to have to make them sort of decisions. And he'll know a lot of these players anyway because United are a big club and he'd have watched a lot of them over the years. So he'll have a good idea where he is and what's needed. I do think change can happen way quicker than most because the get-out clause is always we need time. Well, you can change things pretty quickly at football clubs, and it doesn't have to take as long as 2 transfer windows. If you can get a team have an identity of how they play and they can do it well, which is obviously the identity is pressing, isn't it? It's going to be the tempo of play.
That's what he's alluding to.
Yeah, it's going to be attacking teams with a way of defending to win the ball back in certain areas. And he's got to have the team that can physically do that.
I mean, he's coming in a weird way.
There's a lot of good players there now.
Oh, of course they have.
There's a lot of good players at Manchester United.
In a weird way, when you talk about what happened, obviously, under the tenure of Erik ten Hag and bowing out following that West Ham defeat, coming in at that point might have been quite a difficult, low confidence, if you like, within the side. But you're coming into a team that are unbeaten in the last 4 under Ruud van Nistelrooy in his caretaker charge. So in some ways, he comes in at a good time because the mood is uplifted, having been through. No?
I don't think I think he'd be delighted they got the points, but I don't think he'll be judging his players because of how they've turned it around, because we see the bounce every time a new manager gets announced. That happens so often. True. I think he wants to convince the players in his first meeting that this is how we're going to go forward, and if you don't buy into it, he'll have the first 3 months would be a luxury for him because he'll get every bit of backing that's needed.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing that their first game is Ipswich away?
Don't know, really. It's a bad thing if they lose. It's a great thing if they win. I mean, I think more important thing for him will be how United play in them games, because one thing I was very critical of Ten Hag, he changed every position on the football pitch from a right back to a midfielder to a centre forward, and I was never convinced they played in a fashion that is meant to be adventurous and bold. I was never convinced. And if you want to look at the numbers and data, look at their goals for column. It wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough this season. It wasn't good enough last season. Thinking of a Man United team without a 25-goal striker is laughable.
Yeah. 12 goals. What is that? 4th lowest, I think it is, in terms of scoring in the league this season. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. Not a great return so far for that team. But just to clarify, Ipswich away is their first game after the international break. Then they've got a Europa League game at home to Bodo Glimt. Everton then are the visitors at the beginning of December. And then it's a trip to the Emirates.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.